In this video I'm going to take a look at how to go about sketching a box dovetail. So there's two options in this. We can draw just a single box dovetail, which I'll do first, and then we can draw one which is a double box dovetail, or two tails in it. Starting off with here, I'm going to be, as usual, using the isometric grid paper. I'm going to set out to the right at 2 squares and then 10, and then a depth of the vertical line of 8 squares. And go to the left the same distance, and then we can go about setting up just the parallel lines in 30 degrees of the actual corner joint itself, without any detail in it. To put in the detail then of the tail and the pin, what I'm going to do here is measure down 2 and go back up 1 square. So there's 1 square out at the narrower side and 2 squares then at the inner edge. Then I can draw in heavy what detail that I want. Don't draw anything heavy until you're absolutely certain of it. You can see as I'm building it up here that it becomes more apparent where our dovetail is. There's just one large dovetail that's shown in the drawing here, the first drawing. The usual details that can be shown here to highlight it is part A and part B, and we can put in our end grain, and it face side, face edge makes it all look apart. So A is the pins, or the pin in this case, and B is the tails. The only distance we need in this here is how far in from the edge will come for that point, and whatever that is, and then the width of the wood itself and the thickness of the wood will be required as well. This distance here and all these sizes can be changed around to suit whatever it is that we're making, but I'm just going to put in sizes kind of to our proportions here. 120 in both directions, 18 millimeters thickness, which is a kind of standard stock, 80 millimeters, and in from the edge I'd put a measure in at 12 from the two edges there. The bevels that we would use, if it's softwood we would go 1:6, and if it's hardwood we're going 1:7 or 1:8. That's basically, you take a right angled line here and we step up 6 units and go out 1 for a 1:6 bevel or slope of the dovetail. So that shows it there, and we would set our sliding bevel off of that there to be able to draw our dovetail. So then the other one that we would go about is where we have 2 of those, and this time is the only big change in the dimension is I'm going 120 here and measuring the 2 squares for where the join is at the corner, and I'm going 11 in height. And again I'm drawing exactly the same setup with the corner, no detail in it to start with. Add in the detail, measure 2 squares down from the edge, and I'm going up to the 1 square, which is from the outer edge, and do the same from the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is measure 2 squares down, and I'm using the one square of a slope to get the dovetail, and it's leaving me with a space in between the 2 of those, and we can put in heavy what we need then in the drawing. I'm just going drawing the dovetails heavy starting off, and then I can go about drawing the rest of the pieces. Usual story, if you're going to draw lines, try and keep drawing the same angle lines. You can see I'm tilting the sheet a little bit. I'm holding it normally fairly square so that I can get it into the shot in the visualizer. You could turn the sheet right around if you liked, if it's more comfortable. Usual face side, face edge, part A, part B. Put in end grain and sizes that we have here. Now in the sizes for this one, because there's 2 tails in it, we'd measure in from the edge, and would measure the gap or the distance of the tail itself. The distance that I'm putting in here is 12 and 18, and that would leave it that the center piece would be 84, or you could go bigger than that there piece and would widen the gap in the middle. And again, we don't really need the middle measurement as such, because we've got the bevel which would determine what it is on the outside then. And if you like, you can go right around the extremities or the outline of the joint, which makes it stand out that wee bit more on the page.